Hello, thank you for taking the time to watch this video on learning with the MoFaCTS system. I'm Phil Pavlik. MoFaCTS stands for Mobile Fact and Concept Training System. I built it to help students learn more quickly. It's still under development, and this is why it is an extra credit rather than a required assignment for your class. This first semester, it is set up for chapters 9, 10, and 11. There's also a survey posted for a $10 Macy gift card. The survey does not provide extra credit. It's just there to collect additional data to go with the practice that people may do as part of the extra credit. So this system was something I developed because I love to learn lots of things. I wanted a way to accelerate the most tedious kinds of learning, such as facts, dates, terminology, and names. I saw that flashcards were very useful for many people, and I asked this question: how could I make an automatic flashcard system? Something that would save the time or money from making or buying flashcards, and also save the confusion of deciding how to study with the flashcards, basically to allow faster learning. Leading up to now, I described the basics of this system in my graduate work, but have spent the last 15 years trying to build a real system for students. I'm here today because the U.S. Department of Education is funding our next 3 years of development in collaboration with Southwest Community College. We are collecting your data anonymously in order to improve the system, create better items, and make better choices of what to practice. Thank you very much if you're able to try the system and complete the extra credit. So how to use the system? You just go to the website provided by your instructor on the internet with a smartphone or computer. Click on your teacher's email, sign in with the passcode provided by your instructor, select your class, choose a chapter or the survey, and then practice for 60 minutes or more for each chapter to get the extra credit benefit. It's really quite as straightforward as that. You can do it in multiple sessions. You can do it in one session. It saves all your data as you go along, so there's no special overhead of keeping track of anything other than coming back to the same URL with the same login, because you have to be careful about using the same login so that it comes back to your own practice. For using the system to actually do the practice, you're going to want to read each fill-in-the-blank item carefully. All of these items are drawn for your textbook, so reading the book first makes this practice easier. You want to enter the correct answer or a good guess, and then hit enter to skip to the review if you don't know, of course. Study the review carefully if you get it wrong, thinking about how the sentence makes sense with the correct answer. Use the 16-second review time for each wrong response to productively integrate the fact into your understanding of the chapter. It's important that you don't just repeat the correct answer. By explaining the answer to yourself so that it makes sense, you're going to be able to transfer it to those different questions on the exam, because of course the exam doesn't come straight from your textbook. In the future, we hope to add pictures to the system, but that work isn't complete yet. Obviously, understanding the figures in an anatomy and physiology class is also going to be important, but our system doesn't provide practice with that yet. One thing we do have is speech recognition and text-to-speech, so that you can have it pronounce the items for you, and as well as pronounce the correct responses so that you can learn to pronounce them and spell them more easily. These are experimental systems, so they can't be sure they will run well on all smartphones or computers, but a quiet room is certainly more likely to make the speech recognition work. You can choose to hear the entire question or just the feedback. You can go back to the home screen to turn off these systems, of course, if they're not working well for you. And of course, you do have the error reporting button in the system that you can tell us what's wrong if you want to take that extra time and give us a little feedback on the system. On a smartphone, I've also found that using the speech recognition button next to the keyboard worked well. In other words, using the built-in speech recognition for your cell phone. But of course, if you do this, you turn off the built-in speech recognition in the system itself and just use your smartphone's recognition to answer the questions. There's also a progress button up near the top of the screen. It provides your percent correct and the time spent. That way you can go look there to see if you've completed the extra credit. Also, it provides a line graph of how your actual performance changes across repetitions for each item, averaging across all the items just to provide the one graph. There's also at the bottom, there's some bar graphs of how well the AI system expects you would perform if tested at the current time on these same items. And so these predictions, you might notice if you come back 5 minutes later that they'll actually decrease, and that's because the AI has forgetting built into the system. And so you may notice that if you're coming back to the system and your values are still high on these bar graphs, well, you've certainly practiced enough then, and you want to use that kind of as a judge to when you might quit, assuming that you want to go beyond the hour. Finally, I just want to say that I know your time is valuable, and I hope that our work can speed your learning. That's why we built it after all. This isn't meant to be an extra assignment for you, but rather something that's going to make it easier for more people to pass. Again, thanks for listening to this presentation. Feel free to contact me either by email or phone. There's also anonymous messaging, the error reporting system built into the MoFaCTS, that you can report any issues, and that would be very helpful for our project. Thank you very much, and I hope you have all the success in this class that we imagine you can.